President Trump was either just sabotaged at the United Nations, or today was his very unlucky day, and all of this was just a coincidence. Let's take a look at the facts and you decide. So it began when he walked into the UN, and the escalator broke the moment that he and Melania stepped onto it.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning. President Trump.
Mr. President, what is your message in light of the Palestinian
So you can see there are multiple angles here. The escalator's clearly working. Then the moment that both he and Melania are on it, it stops, and they're forced to walk all the way up.
Escalator не работает.
Now, you can imagine if that had been Joe Biden and the escalator stopped with that sort of jolt, it would be really easy for someone to fall over, get injured, but President Trump is a lot more vibrant and youthful than Joe Biden, so that wasn't an issue. Both he and Melania were able to walk up and approach the General Assembly area. So most people would just write that off as, oh, that's just bad timing, that's just bad luck. But things got really interesting when it was time for President Trump to give his speech. And again, the moment he stepped onto the podium, the teleprompter just goes out. What are the odds here?
I don't mind making the speech without a teleprompter because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here with you nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
Even without a script, he can be very funny off the cuff. That was just a great moment, and he did deliver a barn burner of a speech. The entire thing was on fire from beginning to end. He ended up calling out the United Nations to their faces. It's classic Trump. It's the Trump that his supporters love to see. Now, when all of this happened, you know, it's hard to think that this is just a coincidence. I hate to go down the conspiracy rabbit holes, right? And who does? Who wants to be called a conspiracy theorist? But when you think of the escalator breaking and the teleprompter going out just the moment that President Trump needs them, it's hard to think, oh, this is just a coincidence. The timing is just a little too neat, a little too perfect. We know that the UN is filled with people who don't like Trump, who want to sabotage him, who want to make him look like a fool, and yet, even though the teleprompter wasn't working, President Trump was able to stand on his 2 feet, make his case. And so I'm interested in what you guys have to say. What do you think? Do you think that this was sabotage, or do you think, hey, it's just coincidence, there's nothing to see here, Daniel, you're just grasping for straws? Hey, it's okay if you disagree with me, but let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Now, even though President Trump didn't have a teleprompter, he was able to forcefully prosecute his case. One of those cases was that, hey, the United Nations is supposed to bring us closer to world peace. Yet, President Trump has done more for world peace in his 9 months in office than this governing body, and he called them out, and it was a savage moment, and the entire room knew it.
Likewise, in a period of just 7 months, I have ended 7 unendable wars. They said they were unendable. You're never going to get them solved. Some were going for 31 years, 2 of them, 31, think of it, 31 years. One was 36 years. One was 28 years. I ended 7 wars, and in all cases they were raging with countless thousands of people being killed. This includes Cambodia and Thailand, Kosovo and Serbia, the Congo and Rwanda, a vicious, violent war that was, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, and Armenia and Azerbaijan. It included all of them. No president or prime minister, and for that matter, no other country has ever done anything close to that. And I did it in just 7 months. It's never happened before. There's never been anything like that. I'm very honored to have done it. It's too bad that I had to do these things instead of the United Nations doing them. And sadly, in all cases, the United Nations did not even try to help in any of them. I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen, but she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the 2 things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. Thank you very much.
I mean, 2 things to point out here. Number 1, that was being broadcast on CNN Live during his speech. It's rare that any of the mainstream networks carry President Trump live. They tried to censor him in real time, which of course is really ironic because they're accusing the Trump administration of trying to stifle free speech, yet the media, they usually cut away whenever Trump is speaking because they say, oh, he's spreading lies, he's spreading misinformation, so we got to cut him off, instead of broadcasting the news and then analyzing it afterwards. So I thought that was really notable that CNN decided to carry this whole event live. And then on top of that, to talk about the escalator and the teleprompter again, keep in mind a whole bunch of world leaders were coming to the UN. This was like the Olympic event for them this year. High security, lots of high profile individuals coming. And if you can't even get your building and your electronics working properly, how can people trust you? How can the world trust you to make the world a better place? Like, you can't even take care of your own backyard. You can't even take care of your own assembly hall. No wonder the world is in such a mess right now. I know it seems like a small thing and it seems unrelated, but it's sort of like when you go to the dentist, right? If your dentist has bad teeth, are you gonna like trust that person to fix your smile and fix like whatever issues you have going on in your mouth? I think the same thing, that sort of same logic applies here. If you can't even take care of your own building, like, why should anyone trust you to make the world a better, safer, more peaceful place? Well, it turns out that there was an attack that could have happened today. We don't yet for sure know all the details, but before we get into that, I would like to acknowledge Jenny Rankin and Bama Ridenour as the members of today's Governor's Club. These are people who give tips and super thanks to the channel. So this was reported by the New York Post. Secret Service foils massive plot to cripple NYC cell network and threaten UN General Assembly. What's crazy here is just the scope and the size of this thing. So they found apparently 300 co-located SIM servers, and then on top of that, over 100,000 SIM cards. All put together, this network would have been capable of flooding the cell networks in New York City with over 30 million texts per minute on top of phone calls. Basically, they believe it would have swamped emergency lines. And so we don't know if this was done in coordination with another plot, but honestly, that would be my guess as an outsider, just knowing what we know, right? Commit some act of terror, something horrible, and then flood the system to make sure that first responders can't get to wherever they need to go to save lives and make sure that people get the treatment that they need. Well, on Good Morning America, they had more information about this plot.
Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning, Robin. At first, the Secret Service thought it was investigating a typical threat to someone the agency protects. What agents said they uncovered may not look like much, but they believe it could have disabled every cellular tower here in New York City. This morning, the U.S. Secret Service believes it disrupted a plot that could have collapsed the entire telecommunications system in New York City. And law enforcement sources tell ABC News it's believed to be connected to the Chinese government. Officials say several individuals, including at least one with direct access to the president, began receiving threats this spring. In recent weeks, investigators tracked those threats to multiple locations in and around New York, where they said they seized hundreds of servers and more than 100,000 SIM cards. Enough equipment to send 30 million anonymous text messages every minute. Overwhelming communications.
They found empty apartments with servers and server walls capable of making millions and millions of phone calls in and around New York City and the world that could potentially cripple New York City and other parts of the world.
There are no arrests yet. The apartments where the equipment was found were empty. Investigators suspect the alleged plot is the work of a well-organized and well-funded group that law enforcement sources say is believed to be linked to China. Now, the Secret Service is still working to determine what all the equipment was meant to do and whether there was a specific target. But as one official put it, guys, the potential for disruption to the country's telecommunications posed by this network of devices cannot be overstated.
So 2 points that really stood out to me. Number one, this was announced and discovered and handled by the Secret Service. It's not like this was something that the FBI was looking into. So to me, that really indicates that one of our top leaders, it may be President Trump, it may be someone in the administration, because the Secret Service protects a whole range of people. But that really indicates to me it's a huge national security issue and goes, to the highest levels of our government as far as the threat goes. On top of that, the fact that this could potentially be linked to China. I hope if it is that we get more information in the coming days, if not weeks or months. And if it is linked to China, then the government, quite frankly, needs to do something, because to me, again, just as a layperson observing this from the outside, to me, it screams that it's an act of war. So that's not an allegation to put out there lately, but they've already indicated the potential ties. And I hope that this is a link that they keep looking into further. That's not something to take lightly. And I certainly hope no one is trying to brush that under the rug. Well, there is one more piece of news from this UN gathering that's earning a lot of attention, and it actually happened last night when President Trump arrived in New York City. So wherever the presidential motorcade goes, they shut down roads for everyone's safety. And also in New York City was French President Emmanuel Macron. Well, because of the road closures, Macron was not allowed to cross the street to get to where he needed to go. NYPD held him back. So Macron personally called President Trump's personal cell phone number and explained the situation, and had to ask him, hey, can you help me out here? This is what that looked like.
Who's this? How many people?
No, I have 10 people with me. I go to the French embassy.
No. I'm sorry, President, I'm really sorry. It's just that everything's in frozen right now. There's a motorcade coming right. That's why.
Oh, sorry. If you don't see it, let me cross. I negotiate with you.
No, this is not that.
How are you? Guess what? I'm waiting in the street because everything is frozen for you. I don't know, I've seen 3 or 4 in the afternoon. But I would love if we can. Yeah, I know. I would follow. But after I would love if we can have a short discussion with Qatar and you from the situation in Gaza, because.
Just a great video. He ended up being able to walk to his destination after the fact. But what I really appreciated about that moment was that the NYPD officer wasn't like, oh, you're the president of France, I'm just going to let you through. Nope. I think that's what people, quite frankly, all over the country are sick of. Rules and double standards for the elites, for our leaders, when in reality, they are human beings just like us, and they're supposed to represent us in government. I get he's the president of France, but still, the officer could have made an exception, said, oh, yeah, I don't see the motorcade, go ahead and cross the road. But no, you get the same rules, you get the same treatment as anyone and everyone else. You gotta love it. We really truly are living in a different America than we were last year. As always, though, all of this is just my analysis and commentary. That is what's going on in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So again, the question of the day: what do you think? Was President Trump sabotaged with the escalator and the teleprompter? Or do you think I'm grasping at straws? Do you think I'm trying to see a pattern where there is none, and hey, it was just his unlucky day? Totally cool if you disagree. I don't mind that. Free speech means freedom of opinion, freedom of thought, and hey, you don't have to agree with everything I say. I'd love to know your thoughts on all of that down in the comments below. If you haven't already, please be sure to leave me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.